Let's get real for a sec. Tech is not cheap. And today I'm going to be telling you how tech companies are stealing your money using RAM without you knowing it and without them actually meaning to. But don't worry, there's a quick fix. So let me show you. Now before we get started, let me kind of give you the basics of RAM and what is actually important for this video. The first thing is the capacity of the RAM. Now that is the actual capacity that it has for temporary storage for stuff that you are doing. And the more, the better. That's just kind of how it works. Now RAM kind of has 4, 8, 16, and 32 gigabyte size capacities per stick. Those are kind of the normal ones. And if you're getting any more than that, yeah. Secondly is going to be the speed of the RAM. Now that is measured in megahertz, and that ranges from 2400 megahertz to 5000 megahertz, with 5000 being a very particular type of RAM. And if you have the money for that, once again, yeah. And third is going to be cache latency. Now, the latency is measured in nanoseconds and can be found at the end of the product code. So for me, I have these Vengeance RGB Pro memory modules, and if I kind of read you the end of this like product code, the end, I'm not going to read the entire code. It's way too long. So the end of this product code ends with C16. Now what that means is that this specific RAM module has a cache latency of 16 nanoseconds, and that is just how long it takes for the memory to switch between rows. Now, just as a little side note, if you are getting RAM for your system, whether it's an existing system or a new system, all three of those numbers have to be exactly the same. So if your current system has one stick of RAM and it is an 8 gigabyte stick of RAM at 3000 megahertz at cache latency of 16, the second one has to be the same. And the same with if you're just buying new sticks, they have to all be the same. So just be aware of that. Also, motherboards have capacities on them. So motherboard will usually say it's a 32 gigabyte, which means it's maxed at 32 gigabytes of RAM per slot. Also, it will be a limiting factor on the speed as well. So keep that in mind. See if your motherboard can actually handle higher speeds before you buy a 4000 megahertz RAM stick and your motherboard only allows for 3000. Now also, the better those numbers are, so the higher the capacity, the faster the speed, and the lower the cache number, the more expensive the RAM is going to be. And that is where the thievery begins, because the speed on the box is not the speed you get out of the box. Now to kind of give you an example, I'm going to show you this memory module again. Now this is a DDR4 stick of RAM that has 8 gigabyte capacity, 3000 megahertz, and a cache latency of 16. Now the capacity and the cache latency doesn't matter here. The only thing that's going to matter is the clock speed. So the speed that is designated on the box is 3000 megahertz. But if you actually go into your BIOS after installation, that number is going to be way lower. But not to worry, this can easily be fixed in the BIOS, and I'm going to show you now. But let me first show you how you can get into your BIOS from your desktop without mashing delete. So you go to Start, Shift left click on Restart. Once you do that, it will kind of go into a different menu. Once you reach that different menu, that should be coming up right now, you will then go into the Troubleshoot menu. And from there, you will go into Advanced and then UEFI Firmware Settings. Now, once you click that, you'll just need to click Restart. And then once your PC has restarted, it will actually be in the BIOS. Now, once you're in your BIOS, you will see something very similar to this. Now, if I go over to memory, you can actually see the DRAM frequency is at 2133 megahertz, which is far lower than the 3000 rated. Now, all you have to do is click on this XMP profile. Once you turn that on and you restart your computer, that will be correct. And in advanced mode, you just go overclock. Then once you're in overclock, go down to DRAM and then extreme memory profile or XMP, just make sure that's enabled. And once you've done that, you can just exit and save your settings. Remember to save them, otherwise they will not be enabled once you restart. And that is it. Once you have XMP profile enabled, you are going to be using your RAM stick at its maximum potential. Now, if and only if your motherboard can actually support that speed, otherwise you overpaid for speeds that you can't use, and that way it's not on them, it's on you. It's on you. So if you knew about XMP, I'm glad. If you didn't, I hope this video actually helped you out and that you have finally actually used your RAM at its designated speed. Also, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I really do appreciate that. Also, if you guys want to flex in the description below a little about your RAM, either the capacity, the speed, or the cast latency that you have, feel free to do that below. Also, tell me if you actually knew about the XMP profile. I'm pretty curious to see how many of you didn't know about that, because I know it wasn't something that I immediately knew when I started in the entire PC building industry. And another small thing, I stream on Twitch every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday afternoon. Link to that in the description below. Also, the link to the Discord is down in the description below. Join the community where we kind of chat about either this or Minecraft or anything else you guys are playing. Feel free to join. Also, feel free to hang out in the stream. We chat about these types of stuff always, so if you want to jump in and ask a few questions, you are more than welcome to do that. And until next time, cheers. Look at this, guys. A skeleton riding a spider. You don't get more badass than this.